Ladies and gentlemen, the President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा। विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंग। तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे। गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता। जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे।
Good afternoon, Excellencies, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Energy Resources Institute, TERI, I'd like to welcome you all to the first edition of the World Sustainable Development Summit 2016. Following the landmark Paris Agreement and the adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals by the world community, the Delhi Sustainable Development Summit, initiated in 2001, has evolved into the World Sustainable Development Summit to carry forward a legacy of 15 years. The most daunting task that human society faces currently is the increase in risks associated with climate change. This World Sustainable Development Summit on the theme Beyond 2015, People, Planet and Progress will draw up a roadmap to engage leading policymakers, civil society, researchers, corporates and other concerned organizations and individuals to share lessons and best practices and facilitate partnerships and find and promote solutions and trigger action for a sustainable future. We're very honored on this occasion to welcome the Honorable President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, Mr. Bhawan, Honorable Chief Minister of Sikkim, Mr. Ashok Chawla, Chairman TERI, Dr. Ajay Mathur, Director General TERI, and Dr. Annapurna Vancheshwaran, Senior Director TERI. Ladies and gentlemen, in Indian tradition, light symbolizes knowledge, and we bow to knowledge as the greatest form of wealth. May I now invite the Honorable President of India and all our other dignitaries on the dais to come forward to light the inaugural lamp. I now request Mr. Ashok Chawla, Chairman TERI, to propose a formal welcome address.
Honorable President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, Honorable Chief Minister of Sikkim, Shri Bhawan, my colleague, Dr. Ajay Mathur, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great privilege to welcome this august gathering on the occasion of the first edition of the World Sustainable Development Summit Beyond 2015, People, Planet and Progress. We are extremely grateful to our distinguished President, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, for accepting our request and being with us to provide encouragement and inspiration. When Ajay Mathur and I went to him, he was his usual gracious self and accepted without a second thought. Thank you, sir. I am also grateful to the distinguished speakers of the summit who have come from far and wide. This is an expression of commitment towards the cause of sustainable development across the globe and support to TERI and what it stands for. This summit has evolved over 15 years. Initiated in the year 2001, a year after the United Nations Millennium Development Goals were adopted, the Delhi Sustainable Development Summit sought to make sustainable development a universally shared goal. The subsequent adoption of the Sustainable Development Goals and the signing of the landmark Paris Agreement signify the importance of collective action and partnerships across the globe. At this inflection point, the Delhi Sustainable Development Summit has flowered into the World Sustainable Development Summit. It seeks to promote advocacy for implementation. Advocacy for implementation. The theme of the summit this year represents a complex but urgent challenge facing the global community. The risks facing the planet have serious implications for all living species. Never before has the nexus between planet, people, progress been as critical as it is today, given the changes that human activities are imposing on the Earth's ecosystem. The time to change and the time to act is now. Ladies and gentlemen, historic changes are taking place in India. We are in the midst of rapid urbanization as millions of people move to towns and cities every year in search of new opportunities. At the same time, we are striving to ensure access to electricity to the 300 million people who are currently without it. This is resulting in rapidly increasing demand for affordable habitat, food, water, and energy. There is also a growing realization that in an unequal world, the impact of climate change and scarcity of resources would disproportionately affect the large number of vulnerable people living in poverty. This requires a paradigm shift in how we produce and consume, how we come together as global citizens. Indeed, how we define progress. It is essential to see progress in terms of what can be sustained. Progress should not be measured solely on the basis and yardstick of gross domestic product of countries, but should include the attainment of other goals that are the core of human welfare. This can only be achieved through coordinated global action involving governments, business, civil society, research, and academia. The year 2015 was a year of promises. A multitude of global agreements were reached. Among other global goals, we have promised to reduce economic inequality, ensure access to water and sanitation, and end poverty in all forms everywhere. We have promised to keep global temperatures well below 2 degrees Celsius. We have promised to significantly reduce the risks and impacts of climate change for current and future generations. These agreements have given us a universal vision for an integrated and transformative world. It is now time for action. We believe that the World Sustainable Development Summit provides a platform to share experiences and lessons learned. It is our endeavor at TERI to see that the summit will motivate all participants to spread awareness that would induce action for implementation. Ladies and gentlemen, let me once again say that we are honored to welcome such a distinguished galaxy of thought leaders who have found the time to be here to talk about new visions, new horizons, and the next steps. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chawla. May I now request Mr. Ashok Chawla to present a herbal sapling to the Honorable President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee. I'd like to add here that TERI provides high quality and a sapling for Mr. Bhawan, Honorable Chief Minister of Sikkim. TERI provides high-quality herbal planting material to farmers and links them to urban markets, thereby helping them to improve their livelihood. Let us now take a moment to reflect on the purpose that brings us all together here today, a short video.
We need action from everyone, everywhere. 17 Sustainable Development Goals are our guide. They are a to-do list for people and planet and the blueprint for success. What was once unthinkable has now become unstoppable.
When it comes to the care of our common home, we are living at a critical moment of history. We still have time to make the change needed to bring about a sustainable and integral development, for we know that things can change.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to a very special moment, the presentation of the Sustainable Development Leadership Award. This award was instituted by TERI in 2005 to felicitate global leaders whose exemplary work can guide and inspire the world towards a sustainable future. The recipient of this year's Sustainable Development Leadership Award goes to a dignitary for his commitment towards inclusive and sustainable socio-economic growth, his pioneering effort towards strengthening sustainable agricultural practices which have transformed his state into the first fully organic farming state in India. His policies have ensured conservation of biodiversity, improvement in soil health, leading to sustained increase in crop yields, even in the long term. Owing to his vision of sustainable development, the state has witnessed a GDP growth higher than the national average from 2007 to 2012. As the longest-serving Chief Minister of a state, his perseverance in ensuring the integration of sustainable development programs into policy and administrative framework of the state has brought about social and economic upliftment of underprivileged communities, ensuring inclusive growth within the Himalayan state. This year's Sustainable Development Leadership Award goes to the Chief Minister of Sikkim, Shri Bhawan. I'd like to request the Honorable President of India to come to the front of the dais and present the award to Mr. Bhawan. I'd like to request all our other dignitaries to please join in the presentation ceremony. The Honorable Chief Minister of Sikkim, Shri Bhawan. We thank the Honorable President, and I invite Mr. Bhawan to say a few words on the occasion.
Honorable President, most respected Pranab Mukherjee Sahib, Chairman Terry, respected Shri Ashok Chawla ji, Director Terry, respected Dr. Ajay Mathur ji, respected Dr. Annapurna ji, distinguished dignitaries and esteemed guests. It gives me great pleasure to be part of the World Sustainable Development Summit 2016, and I deeply touched and humbled by the Sustainable Development Leadership Award bestowed on me. I must say that this award is validation of our efforts towards conservation and protection of nature. The award also is a recognition of our vision of sustainable development, which we have pursued through our programs and policies in the last 22 years of our government, making it our priority to ensure that development and environment protection go hand in hand. I am happy to share on this platform that today many of our innovative environment-friendly policies are being appreciated and replicated across the country. In spite of being a late entrant to the Indian Union, Sikkim has gained the distinction of a forerunner and a torchbearer in many spheres. I thank the dear people of Sikkim for their continued support in all our endeavors and dedicate this award to them. I express my profound gratitude to Terry for the honor bestowed on me. I take this acknowledgement as a responsibility and trust reposed on me to further the cause of protecting our environment from further degradation and be the humble ambassador of taking forward the message of saving our Mother Nature. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I now invite the Honorable President of India, Shri Pranab Mukherjee, to deliver the inaugural address.
Shri Pawan Kumar Chamling, Chief Minister Sikkim, Ashok Chawla, Chairman TEDI, Dr. Ajay Mathur, DG TEDI, Dr. Annapurna Phanchesan, Senior Director TEDI, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. At the very outset, I would like to congratulate Shri Pawan Chamling, Chief Minister of Sikkim, the smallest state of the Federation of India, but the most progressive one, and which has been demonstrated by the recognition, considering him to be the leader of the sustainable developmental efforts, keeping in harmony with the climate change requirements. The whole state has emerged organic-based agriculture. As I know the state and as I know Mr. Chamling personally, over decades, it is for this work the people of that beautiful land has consecutively reposed their trust on him and winning successive elections. He is the longest serving Chief Minister of India today. I wish him all success leading the march of Sikkim towards its desired goal. Thank you, Mr. Chamling. I am indeed very happy to have this opportunity of being invited to take part in this deliberation. First of all, I would like to congratulate TEDI, the Energy and Resource Institute, for initiating the conclave of great relevance. This global forum was evolved from the Delhi Sustainable Development Summit that was launched by TEDI in 2001. The WSDS has been at the forefront of creating environmental consciousness and promoting leadership to tackle the challenges of climate change and sustainable development. I fondly recall having the opportunity of inaugurating another session of the Delhi Sustainable Development Summit a couple of years back in my capacity as the then Foreign Minister of India. I am pleased to see it grow into larger and more inclusive platform now. I take this opportunity to welcome all the distinguished delegates who have taken the trouble of coming from far and wide across the seas to our land. I welcome them, and not only they will make very valuable contributions in the deliberations of the conclave in the coming days, I wish them to have a very comfortable stay in our land, and when they go back, they will carry a part of India, softness for India in their heart. TEDI has been consistent in its endeavor to find solutions and create new knowledge on issues relating to environment, climate, resources, and sustainable development. Through the World Sustainable Development Summit, TERI is seeking to provide a unique platform to experts, administrators, policymakers, and others from around the globe, determined to protect our planet, to promote international exchange of knowledge and ideas. I wish TERI should continue its efforts for many more years. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the threat of climate change is real and immediate. It concerns the whole world, as its ill effects are all pervasive. Developing economies like ours are more vulnerable to climate change, as these economies are closely tied to climate-sensitive sectors like agriculture and forestry. As a developing country with shared concerns on climate vulnerability, India has a vital stake in an equitable and multilateral approach towards the climate change. We had to fight too many odds. India is home of almost 18% of the world population, but renewable water resources available in India is just only 4%. Our energy consumption constitutes 6% of the global energy consumption. Still, we are deficient, and right now, when I am speaking before you, more than 250 million people of India have no access to any sort of electricity. Resource constraints notwithstanding, we have worked hard to become the fastest growing economy amongst the major economies of the world. We have the capacity to clock sustained high growth, but growth is dependent on resource availability, especially energy. Factors such as demography, development and urbanization exert tremendous pressures on availability of resources. Large-scale utilization of resources leads to the depletion and also impacts adversely on the environment. This results is reduced availability of the resources for future growth, putting a question mark on the sustainability of the development of an economy. We need to follow a twin-tracked approach of limiting the rise of the climate change while ensuring the existence of sufficient resources to meet our future developmental requirements. This objective mandates the efficient use of Earth's natural resources. We should aim at creating a society that is prosperous but not wasteful. We should not encourage in waste making to create the artificial demand in the market. We should make use of our abundant renewable resources to create a society that is self-sustaining and mindful of its responsibility towards not only the present but the future generations. Under any circumstances, we should forget what we have today is inheritance from our predecessors, and we are just trustees. We shall have to leave these resources for the generation to come. We have no right to waste it wantonly. Therefore, our society must learn to exercise restraint in consumption while continue to use resources in moderation. I am tempted here to quote a few lines from the observations of Mahatma Gandhi. Many, many years ago, he observed, Mother Earth has enough resources to meet the need of everybody, but not the greed of everyone. We should remind this truth always. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, promising initiatives have been taken both at the national and international levels aimed at addressing the challenges of the climate change. The adoptions of the Paris Agreement and the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015 are but two crucial steps in this effect. They speak of the global acceptance of the view that all the people and countries of the world need to work together for our common future. India ratified the landmark Paris Agreement that it was reached at the 21st Conference of the Parties, and as President of the Republic I had the privilege just 4 days ago to ratify the Paris Agreement. I am glad that our ratification has occurred prior to the next Conference of Parties, and I hope that it will encourage other countries to follow suit. If the legally required ratification by countries who together account for 55% of the global emissions is achieved, it will enable the coming into force the Paris Agreement before the next conference. This will be a major boost to our fight against climate changes. I take this opportunity to compliment France for its effective leadership at the Paris Conference. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, prior to the UN climate changes conferences in Paris in December 2015, all countries under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Changes were asked to publish their intended nationally determined contributions, INDCs, for reductions in greenhouse gas emissions. Our indices are ambitious, but if we can accelerate steps on the several fronts, it will be possible to achieve our target. The indices are complemented by the National Action Plan on Climate Change, which India adopted in 2008. The NAPCC sets out a comprehensive response to the challenges of the climate change through 8 missions. It includes both adaptation and mitigation goals, in addition to scientific research. The tasks have been set while recognizing the need to increase the standards of living of a vast majority of people and reducing their vulnerability to adverse impacts of climate change. Merely setting up of policies and missions, to my mind, is not adequate. It is the effective implementation and enforcement of these policies that is most critical. I would like to make a special mention of India's achievement in both renewable energy and energy efficiency. While our progress in these directions is globally significant, we have to continue pursuing more ambitious goals. distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, the world is facing challenges in all three dimensions of sustainable development: economic, social, and environmental. On the one hand, over 1.25 billion people are still living below the poverty line. On the other, patterns of unsustainable production and consumptions are endangering our planet's ecosystem. The threat presents us with an opportunity to work together. Global action built on the partnerships is required to achieve sustainable economic and social progress, inclusive growth, and protection on the Earth's ecosystem. Both the nationally determined contributions and the Sustainable Development Goals impel us to look beyond national boundaries and act in solidarity rather than in silos. Collective actions indeed is necessary to address the shared concerns of our world. I am happy that through this World Sustainable Development Summit, TERI is taking a lead in providing a platform for sharing of experiences and for collaborating on strategies for result-oriented action. This collaboration between governments, private sectors, academia, and civil society will be a vital source of knowledge, innovations, expertise, and solutions in tackling the twin and interlinked challenges of development and environment. The theme of this summit, Beyond 2015, People, Planet, and Progress, these three P's are very important, which will motivate us to transform the way we think, work, and progress. The barometer of prosperity is not merely the economic growth in terms of GDP, but the well-being and availability of the opportunities for all. Prosperity can be secured only when our planet remains healthy. We must work towards effective governance of our planet's national resources to ensure clean air and water. We must also work towards adequate food and nutrition for all people. Reducing socio-economic inequalities is a universal agenda that requires urgent action by all parties. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I hope the World Sustainable Development Summit will deliberate on policy discourses and conceptualize new solutions to find innovation pathways of development. I am confident this conclave will witness the formation of multi-stakeholder partnerships that will benefit all while safeguarding Mother Earth's ecosystem. With these words, I conclude and I wish you all success in your deliberations. Please remember, you are meeting, engaging yourselves in deliberations when a very crucial question is in our mind. Would we be able to protect our planet? Answer lies what action we take from right now. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jai Hind.
We thank the Honorable President for that thought-provoking address. I now request Dr. Ajay Mathur, Director General TERI, to propose a vote of thanks.
Honorable President of India, please accept our thanks for inaugurating this World Sustainable Development Summit and for your thoughts. Sir, you ended with a call for action. We promise you we shall deliver on that. Shri Pawan Chamling, we thank you for accepting the award and also hope that the example of Sikkim and the example of leadership shown by you will be a trailblazer not only in India but across the world. We are proud that the WSDS 2016 is the first international summit of all parties, of all stakeholders to address the new post-sustainable development goals and post-Paris Agreement agendas. We have assembled here the global thinkers, leaders on a single platform to accelerate action towards sustainable development through sharing of experiences and lessons and building of new partnerships. We take forward the legacy of the DSDS, the Delhi Sustainable Development Summit, and look forward to strengthening it not only in Delhi, but in other parts of India and other parts of the world. I want to thank the many, many people and organizations who have made this possible. The Ministries of Environment, Forest and Climate Change and of New and Renewable Energy in the Government of India have been our strongest supporters, as they have been in previous years. We have also received strong support, including the presence of the Deputy Minister from Norway, from France, particularly the AFD, from the European Union, and the presence of Commissioner Vela with us. We have very strong support both from the US and Sweden, and obviously from the various multilateral agencies such as the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank. I would also like to place on record our deep thanks to that pioneering company which is changing how we use energy in India, Energy Efficiency Services Limited, or EESL. Finally, this has been made possible by hard work of my own colleagues at TERI. I want to thank each one of them for making this possible. I also want to thank Mr. Chawla and the members of the TERI Governing Council for the leadership that they have provided and the guidance that they continue to provide. Finally, to each one of you, our heartfelt thanks for being here, and we look forward to this being a very stimulating 3 days ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mathur. May I request everyone now to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंग विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंग तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that we come to the end of this inaugural session. Thank you all for joining me here this morning. I'm Sukanya Balakrishnan. Goodbye.